Welcome to Colorado Conversations. I'm Genelle Padilla. Well, we know the Sundance Film Festival. It's the ultimate celebration of independent film, often launching films and careers into worldwide recognition. And this coming January, the world-renowned festival moves to Boulder after nearly 40 years in Park City, Utah. So joining us today is Dana Bacardi, the Associate Director of Individual Giving for Sundance Institute, to give us insight on the move to Boulder and what to expect this year as this festival moves into its new home. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Dana, this is a huge deal. I feel like we won the lottery. Colorado won the lottery with this festival moving into Colorado because it's been such a staple in Utah. Why was there a need for this festival to move states or move cities?
Well, it's an exciting new chapter for the Sundance Film Festival, moving from Utah, like you said, from 40 years over to Boulder, Colorado. We've been working really hard in making sure that we're ready for 6 months from today, actually, when the festival will be here January 21st through the 31st. Mm-hmm. We are working with lots of different community leaders and business partners, lots of volunteers and people all throughout the whole state of Colorado to make sure that our state is ready to welcome independent filmmakers and storytellers from around the world. We're excited to be able to welcome close to 100,000 people over an 11-day period. So we've just been working nonstop around the clock and making sure that we're building communities and building audiences and getting our venues ready to be a part of this new chapter of the Sundance Film Festival.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, it's been 40 plus years in Park City. And the reasoning why you guys wanted to move the festival, is it because the festival outgrew Park City?
Yeah, for what's interesting is that the footprint of the festival in Boulder is about a 2-mile radius. Mm-hmm. So everything is within walking distance, which is really wonderful. And when Robert Redford started the Institute and did the film festival 41 years ago, it was in Park City. It's a small resort town, and it grew and grew, and eventually they needed to go from Park City to another portion called Kimball Junction, which is kind of like maybe Boulder to Broomfield. And then they even outgrew that, and they had to go to Salt Lake City, mm-hmm. which is kind of like the Denver. So they just outgrew that Park City place. Yeah. And, there was, some challenges with that. But now being in Boulder, we've got amazing venues that are ready to welcome many, many audiences from around the world, and people will be able to get around a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, wonderful businesses, as you know, in Boulder, and restaurants and lodging. And, we're working on a lot of different things to help make sure that we create the right home for all of these amazing filmmakers and storytellers to come, and people from industry and press. Yeah. We're excited to welcome them to our wonderful state.
Yeah, it's not hard. We here in Colorado, we know what Boulder is, and we know how beautiful and how fitting this would be. I would imagine there would be a lot of pushback from people in Park City, like trying to hold on to this. This is like the mecca of film festivals. I know you think independent film, smaller, kind of quaint, but this is something that has been known to launch films into worldwide recognition, celebration. They're critically acclaimed. What was the pushback to move?
Yeah, well, I think it's really interesting. I did attend the Culminating Festival in Park City just this past January. And I think, people in Utah were just very curious about Colorado. And the more I got to talk to them, and I said, come and visit our state. Let me take you to my favorite coffee shop. I'd love to show you Pearl Street and show you our restaurants. And we even hosted a reception for major donors in both Colorado and Utah called Spirit of the West. Mm-hmm. And we really celebrated the things that we have in common, as opposed to the things that we are separate from. And, Robert Redford loved the mountains and loved nature and the environment. And so we're just a state line across, so we've really been working hard to kind of roll out the red carpet for Utahns to come over and be a part of this important chapter of the Sundance Film Festival. So I feel like we just had about 50 donors from out of state come, and we toured them of our venues with hard hats and took them to lunch, and they walked away with hugs and said, oh my gosh, you guys are working so hard, and we can't wait to come, and we can't wait to tell our friends to to be a part of the inaugural film festival in 2027.
Yeah, that's really exciting. It seems like it's it seems like and not an easy transition, but it makes sense. You know, I could definitely see Sundance in Boulder. Talk to me about the locations, because you guys have the locations already set,
We do. Yep.
and they really do speak to show off, you know, Boulder as a city.
Yeah, when we were touring our out-of-state visitors, they were so impressed with the architecture. And we have 3 beautiful venues up at the university campus. They've been amazing to work with. So we have the Mackey, which is the largest presentation venue that Sundance Film Festival will use. It's in scaffolding right now. They're investing, I think they're putting in 240 immersive sound speakers in the auditorium, and they'll have the largest presentation screen that the film festival has ever had.
Oh, wow.
So the Mackey is going to be, you know, kind of like our Carnegie Hall, if you will. We have the Roe Green Theater and also Messinger up at the university campus, which will be great. And then we have the wonderful Chautauqua and the Dairy Arts Center and Boulder Theater. We'll have transportation where we'll have buses going clockwise and counterclockwise around. So if people don't want to walk within that 2-mile radius, they can hop on a free, easy shuttle to get them to their next screening or their next film conversation. So the venues have been wonderful to work with. They're all very different, but we're all working together as a community to really combine forces and make sure that we're all marching to the same drum and getting ready for January 21st.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the upgrades that these locations were making. I mean, of course, they're going to be on the world stage. Of course, they would want to upgrade speakers and things like that. I mean, that's like, to put it lightly. And so it's kind of fitting also that one of the locations, a lot of the locations are on the university campus.
Yes.
Because, that is encouraging, people when they get their start, they're studying film and, they're on the beginning of their career path.
Yes.
To have something like this there, that's pretty meaningful.
The students are so excited. We've held several community events since the announcement of the transition of the festival to Boulder, and it's so fun to be in audiences with students. They're so excited. They're clapping and standing up, and then at the end, when it's over, they're waiting in line to talk to programmers, to talk to them about how they got their career started in film. And a lot of them will be volunteers, and a lot of them will be in the audience as well. Easy for them to, go check out a film in between classes or volunteer at the Boulder Theater. But for the first year, it's going to be really exciting to have the 35,000 students at CU be a part of it.
Yeah.
Park City doesn't have a university like that, so this is kind of a new, kind of some new energy that's going to go into the audience experience.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mentioned earlier, it feels like Boulder won the lottery in getting this festival to come, and because it was pretty competitive. People had to put in proposals, and I believe I read it was like a year-long process to go over these proposals. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think the original RFP went out, and there were about 65 states that applied. It got whittled down to about 15 states. Our leadership went and visited, and spoke with leadership all across the country, where it dwindled down to a top 3. And then, Boulder was the one that was chosen. And, you say Boulder wins the lottery, but I really think the state of Colorado won the lottery. So there'll be a ton of people that are staying in Denver and in Fort Collins or coming to Boulder for the first half and then going out to ski in Vail and Aspen and Beaver Creek. So, they're going to be really excited to come and experience our entire state. Our board chair had shared that he wants the Sundance Film Festival logo to be worn proudly just as much as the Denver Broncos.
Oh,
this is for our whole state.
That's a high bar, but I can see it. I can see it happening.
Grand Junction and Fort Collins, like all 4 corners of our state. This festival is for everyone.
Yeah.
And in Utah, 2/3 of audiences would come from the state of Utah. And so they're anticipating that 2/3 of our audiences for 2027 will come from the state of Colorado. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that they are welcome to come. We're working really hard to make it really approachable and affordable for everyone to come and experience something so special, especially in this first year. Tell
me a little bit about that, because you guys at the Sundance Institute say it is important for independent storytelling to be given in an affordable and sustainable way. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, the whole reason I think that Robert Redford started the Institute in the first place was to bring independent filmmakers and storytellers out of Hollywood and have an opportunity to get mentored and have fellowships to learn how to do that. And a lot of these are young filmmakers, and they just didn't have that access in Hollywood. So he went out to the mountains of Utah and, met these filmmakers. And he had the Institute programs and artist programs for a long time in the labs. But it wasn't until a few years later that he realized that he needed audiences to watch these beautiful films that he was helping to support being made. And a lot of those, those audiences were young people. And I think it's important for, the audience to experience something new and different and really walk away with an experience that could be life-changing. And I think that everyone deserves that opportunity to hear someone else's perspective.
Yeah.
And, the whole piece of independent storytelling and filmmaking and connecting audiences with those filmmakers, we want to make sure it's diverse as possible and welcoming. And we've been working really hard in Boulder to make sure that we are accessible and approachable for all different audiences.
I think that's what his vision was when he started it, and it's so true. It's like there's so much talent out there, but what is talent if no one sees it?
Right.
Well, I do want to talk more about Robert Redford and his tie to obviously being a founder of the festival, and also his tie to Boulder. So we're going to have a lot more on Colorado Conversations, but we have to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Colorado Conversations. I'm Genelle Padilla. Today we're joined by a very special guest with the Sundance Institute, Dana Bacardi. She's giving us some insight into, of course, the film festival as a whole and the big move coming January to Boulder from Park City after 40 years. Again, thank you so much for being here. I feel like we're getting a little inside scoop into Hollywood, Park City. So Robert Redford, we know, he founded this huge festival 40 plus years ago. Just tell us his mission when he first started it.
Robert Redford's mission really was to connect independent filmmakers and storytellers to audiences. He realized after being in Hollywood and having this amazing career that the people that were wanting to tell their stories aren't necessarily getting the meetings and the connections that they needed. So he decided to go out to Utah and welcome independent filmmakers and storytellers and really mentor them and sit in the grass with them and learn about their history and their story and really, listen and help them with their craft and help them to have the support that they needed so that their voices were heard in big screens and big audiences around the world. Was just such an incredible human. First and foremost, obviously, in the industry, he had an amazing career, but he really cared for people.
Yeah.
And I think he would be really proud of what's happening with the Institute right now and with the move of the festival, how hard everyone's working to really keep that North Star of connecting filmmakers and storytellers to audiences.
Yeah.
We'll welcome almost 100,000 people to Colorado next year. So I think maybe in his wildest dreams, he never would have realized it would have been that many people. And then outside of the festival, how those films go to live on and get seen by so many different audiences across the world.
Yeah.
Many of the films are premieres at the festival, so it's the first time that anybody has ever seen them. And the filmmakers are putting their hearts up on this big screen in front of all of these people, but there's that audience that's there to support them and clap for them and cry with them and laugh with them. And you get to hear the Q&A afterwards, too, to learn more about their story. So it's really powerful, and I think it's something that we really need more of in this world, is listening to each other and having understanding, even if it's a different perspective than your own.
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting because a lot of people know Robert Redford as this A-list celebrity. I mean, my mom was like, he was the guy, you know, and you think of him as this huge Hollywood actor, but at his core, I read that he didn't like blockbusters. He was really about the love of filmmaking. How involved was he with the Institute? Because it is a year-round effort to support independent filmmakers.
It is, yeah. And many of the labs and artist programs that he started many, many decades ago are still around today. The Producers Lab, the Directors Lab. They have an Indigenous program. They have a Ignite program that helps 18 to 25-year-olds learn how to do film and storytelling. There's an episodic lab as well. The labs are really the heart of the organization, and the Sundance Film Festival helps to support those year-round efforts. In fact, we just had the director's lab at Estes Park just about a month ago, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go and see what that is, and it's really beautiful to see these storytellers get chosen to get mentored. Ed Harris was there helping to advise Michelle Satter, who's on our leadership team, who's been with the Institute for, since the very beginning with Robert Redford. Yeah. And so she still carries his vision and mission every day. It's always such an honor to be on a call with her and hear the importance of what we're really doing is, supporting and uplifting these independent filmmakers.
Yeah. I mean, the Institute as a whole, they really stayed the course in the vision and the mission for that long.
Yeah.
So we all know that Robert Redford passed away last year. How involved was he in the decision to move the festival, let alone choose Boulder as the new destination?
Yeah, well, Amy Redford, Robert Redford's daughter, is on the board. There's actually, in the bylaws, it says that there needs to be a Redford on the board at all times.
Okay.
So I know Amy, worked and spoke very frequently with her dad about what this looks like. And, I think the board was involved and leadership was involved. And, I think really staying true to the mission of, that community support that independent filmmakers and storytellers need when they're premiering a film is really so important. And so I really feel like he's with us a lot in what we do, and I think he'd be really proud of what we're doing. We're working really closely with our brand new CEO, who has come up with this vision of One Sundance, and so we really have this wonderful heartbeat, and Robert Redford's right in the middle of it all.
Yeah. I wonder, are you guys going to have any special events at the Sink? Because he did work there as a janitor. I mean, he has ties to Boulder, to Colorado. He went to CU. He worked at the Sink, and there's even a painting of him or a picture of him on the wall. And so he does have ties to Boulder. I feel like it's not a far cry from Park City.
Yeah, there's a caricature at the Sink as well. That's really fun to go and look at. But I know that we've had some of our leadership come from LA or New York and do some interviews there at the Sink. Sitting right next to the Robert Redford caricature, the picture. He did love Boulder and loved Colorado and the mountains, and so I feel like this move is not a huge stretch from his original vision. But there's just more people here and more infrastructure to be able to support the filmmakers and to have more eyeballs on the films and more audience members to have that experience.
Yeah, to accommodate the expanding festival, but still staying true to the roots that he planted.
Yes.
Dana, we have to take a quick break, but I do want to ask you more about what's next. A lot of people are like, how do we get involved? How do we get tickets? So we'll go over all of that when we come back. All right, we are back with Dana Bacardi of the Sundance Institute. Dana, we only have a few minutes left, but since this is new to Colorado, a lot of people are just itching, like, how do we get involved? What can we do ahead of time? Because you guys have not released a lot of the key dates yet. You're kind of keeping us in suspense, as I'm sure it's getting worked out. Right now, if people are interested in the festival, how can they get involved?
That's a great question. We have a ton of community events that we've been doing for over a year now. We actually just had 2 huge events at Red Rocks in collaboration with Denver Film and with the Colorado Symphony. We're going to continue to do lots of different community events throughout many months leading up to the festival. So definitely check out sundance.org to get that information. But we have been working closely with our programs team and making sure that we are going to hit some important dates that are coming up, including when passes and packages go on sale, which is going to be happening in October.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. The passes and packages will go on sale in October, but the filmmakers don't even find out if their films are accepted into the festival until the end of November.
Oh my gosh.
So you're purchasing passes and packages before you know which films are going to be there.
Like the World Cup.
Yes.
People just buy tickets.
That's right. But then you're ready to fulfill those tickets once the films are announced in December. Yeah. And if you have a pass, then you can kind of get in, but there are tickets if you want to fulfill different films. So we are working on building audiences through our community events, and getting people educated and ready to be a part of it. We have a really new fun film club that just popped up that's really fun, where you can go on and watch movies with groups of people on Zoom, Sundance films, and experience those and do Q&As and things. So that is really fun, and you can learn about that on the website as well.
Yeah.
And then there are also, for those people that are interested in learning about, you know, how to learn how to make a film, how to do a screenplay. There's an amazing year-round program called Collab, where you can go onto the website and sign up for any class that you want at any time. Even if you're just curious, even if you're like, I wonder how they do that, you can sign up and learn online on the class through the Collab program, which is really exceptional part of the Sundance Institute, making those kind of classes accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I love how you guys are drumming up excitement in Colorado. You know, you're introducing this to a lot of new people, and I think a lot of people don't know how many big films have come out of Sundance. Can you just kind of touch on some?
Well, one of the screenings that we did at Red Rocks just a couple of weeks ago was Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh. Love
And
that
it
movie.
was just so great. And it was at Red Rocks, and it was outside. And Devotchka played, which is the band that did the music for the Little Miss Sunshine.
Yes.
The filmmakers were there to say welcome.
Wow.
Our festival director, Eugene Hernandez, was there to get people excited about coming to see films together as a community.
Yeah.
And so we've been really growing community, and it's been really fun to be a part of that. There were people in the audiences that were crying and cheering people on and laughing, and it was really cathartic, I think, for a lot of people to experience such an emotional film. But there are incredible films that have come out of the Sundance Film Festival. Last year, one of the bigger films was a film called The Invite. And it was an incredible film with Seth Rogen, and it was a directorial debut of someone that's in the industry. So I encourage you to look up The Invite as well. But, 40 plus years of films, Reservoir Dogs, and, all kinds of amazing films.
Yeah.
All 5 of the documentary films that were at the Oscars this year were all Sundance films.
Oh my gosh.
So the programs team really knows how to pick them.
Yeah. There's so much to ask. So just real quick, how does that process even take place? About picking films, how many submissions? Can you just give us a little glimpse into that?
Yeah, last year 16,000 films were submitted, and they chose 97 films.
Oh my gosh.
And so the programs team has been at this for a long time, and they are really good at what they do. They watch every single film. The programs team watch every single film that's submitted, which I think is incredible.
Yeah.
And there's a method to their madness.
Right.
I don't know what that is, but I know that they're watching films right now.
Yeah.
And so when I do talk to the programs team, they're working really hard during the day, and then at night they get to watch films and start selecting what that's going to look like, and then programming where those films are going to be shown. And that's another really cool element of, you pick a film, and should it be shown at the Mackey or should it be shown at E-Town? Should it be shown at the Boulder Theater or should it be shown at Boulder High School? Yeah. And so the programs team really does a great job in putting on the program as a whole and makes it for a really fun experience for the festival goer.
It's almost like an art to putting this festival together.
Oh, yeah.
Of art.
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So we are out of time, but I do want to, so we haven't released dates yet, but how do people, where should they go to find out the next step for the festival?
Definitely go onto sundance.org. You can sign up to get newsletters and emails that will keep you updated as things are going on.
Okay.
There is a page on there that does have some key dates, including October. When passes and packages go on sale. The film festival is from January 21st to January 31st, so save the date on your calendars. The first half is usually when all the premieres are. The second half is, re-showing those films and the awards. So regardless of when you go, it's going to be a really exciting time. And we welcome everybody to come from all corners of the state and from around the world. Be a part of this inaugural year. It's going to be really special.
It's absolutely going to be special in a very special place. Well, Dana Bacardi, thank you so much for joining us on Colorado Conversations. That's all the time we have. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.